Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for October 21st through the 27th, 2019. So let's take a deep breath and just allow yourself to relax. Just let everything that's on your mind, let it just fade away. And it's funny, they're showing me a window, but which is my symbol for opportunities. Although the window feels sort of frosted, or it feels like somehow the lighting outside the window is dim, and almost like an early dawn type of hour of the day. But yet they were showing me a bone, and the person was the bone was in front of a person who was sort of brushing their brow as if they've had a huge huge day or a big load, a lot of things just to worry about, and they're just sort of going either as reflection after the day has gone, the day has passed, or in anticipation of what's coming. And so the idea with the bone is to not to struggle, with the bone. Don't pick a bone with someone or with life, so don't allow yourself to fixate on your particular issues that just sort of irritate you, to not give into that impulse to be critical and to be obsessive over something. Because what this is going to do is going to make you vulnerable, and it's going to make you sort of seem like I don't know how to put this. I can feel the words, but it'll make you out to be an object for ridicule. In a sense, it's something that people can use against you when you obsess over something, or when you get fixated and you become super hyper about things that be in a certain way, and they must be this. No, it must be this way. No, I want it done like this. Like this kind of behavior, it's like you have this bone in your teeth and you just won't let it go, and it feels like that you're eclipsing an opportunity for yourself when you do this. You're eclipsing rewards and abundance, universal support, and your creativity, that flow. So it's all about being in a receptive mode, it feels like. And being receptive to what you're creating. I just saw very quickly a flash of the word karma. And although karma may not be sticking and holding in tight, like as if to, like dirt that gets caught in between something, like I'm thinking of maybe between your floorboards, or in your tiles or something. Karma isn't getting stuck like that anymore, but we're still creating that whole idea of this cause and effect. There's still effects of karma, although they may be a little bit more easier to sort of move along and to deal with the lessons more up front. And so you want to be aware of what kind of karma do you want to create. And then writing out the word light, you want to focus on creating karma of light. This is a very interesting concept they're throwing out at us right now. So when we often think of karma, we think of something like that we're stuck with that's negative. But in fact, you can create, well, we know this term, so good karma, but they're calling it karma of light. And so think about what it means to create karma of light. So yes, it's similar to the idea of good karma, but it's something about the word light that just takes it to a whole new level, doesn't it? It makes you, it hits your heart chakra center in a very, very different way. This idea of creating karma of light and wanting that karma to really cement, you know? So in between the tiles of your life, you know, you want this kind of you want this kind of karma, this light, to become a part of the tapestry of your life, to be infused with it. And now more than ever, you have the ability to focus on this karma because the other karma is not working against you as critically as it has been before the ascension process began in 2012. So I don't know if this is accurate, but it seems like in 2017 that this karma, I mean, it was sort of shifted in that negative karma isn't holding. It's no longer able to hold and get stuck in between the tiles, so it's moving. And now we can really cement light as our karma. So think about this. Think about this when you get a bone stuck between your teeth like a dog, you know, and you're like, you just don't want to let it go. Think about that feeling, the angst that it's created in your heart chakra, because before I started this, I just felt, you know, this intense energy in my heart chakra, and I saw a crucifix, which for me represents suffering, as well as it could mean in a more esoteric sense about two paths crossing. You know, so you may want to think about this in terms of two paths are crossing. It could be another person, it could be an event or something in your life. Something crosses you, and do you decide to, you know, to pick a bone with this situation or the person, and is it going to create light? There's sometimes that when we cross and we decide to stand in our power, to stand up against opposing forces, that what you're doing is changing the karma, the negative karma. That's a moment when you're actually transmuting negative karma and transforming it into light. Now, this is interesting because the card underneath for the middle of the week, I don't know how it was just turned the opposite way in the deck already, I guess. I don't know if it happened while I was shuffling, but it just looked a little awkward to have these two cards here. But the card is the Seven of Wands, and so as soon as I said that analogy about when it's also a good thing when we cross paths, and that card just flipped right into my mind, which we'll see. And so I'm sure it's going to play an important role in the reading. But so this is an opportunity then for us to recognize, and it's about paying attention to when is it the right moment to take a stand against opposing forces, to transmute negative karma into light. And when is it just you just fixating and not creating light as karma for yourself? And the idea of light and just saying good karma, which is so interesting that the angels are bringing this up and this introducing it in this way today is because light is something that is not contained. It enlightens, and it lights paths around it. It expands the visual, or expands sight. It expands enlightenment as well. So when we think about creating karma of light, we're thinking about spreading, expanding this light all around us for others, on behalf of others, as a benefit and advantage for others. And so we start off with this dark window, and we have an opportunity, and maybe that window, that dawning, is also symbolic to that we're in a moment of great transition. Another aspect of this ascension process, which they have mentioned to me, I think this is 2 weeks ago, that I told you I saw SAP, and I saw it repeatedly a lot, which starting ascension process. And I don't think it's the first one, but I feel like that it's another major shift that happened a few weeks ago in terms of our individual ascension journeys and the ascension journey for the planet. And so it's probably been preparing us for this activation of light and through karma. And for us, it seems that we have to pay attention to when we're standing, when it's time to stand up, stand in our power, and stand up for that which is just, and to transmute. And when we need to be aware that we're not in integrity or in alignment with our spiritual integrity, and we're not creating karma of light. But either way, the focus is for you to be aware that you have this great opportunity now to spread the karma of light, the karma of truth. So in a way, you may almost want to say that this activation is almost like a second coming. The Christ is within you. The Christ frequency, the Christ consciousness, which is not Jesus the Christ, but it is something that Jesus obtained through his spiritual journey in the lifetime that he was here, and made this, brought this energy through by sort of representing it in its clearest form, in its highest form of frequency. And so now we all have access to this now, to actually use this Christ light, this consciousness of light, and now activate the transition, many people talk about the new golden age, returning. And so in the New Age community, that's sort of like the second coming that probably various religions have in some way are talking about, that they are aware of. And so that common thread is that there is a return, a second coming of a greater enlightenment in our humanity. And so this is what the whole ascension process is really evaluating and create an awareness around. All right, so let's take a look at the card for the week from the Archangels and see where we are. Archangel Ariel. And the card is titled Courage. So be courageous and stand up for your beliefs. There's that stand up for your beliefs again. And, it's going to take a lot of courage to confront yourself, to confront where you, and this is how I want to put it. I'm going to say it this way first, but this is what they really wanted you to focus on. To confront where you create karma that you don't deserve. We have now this just came up in my own personal reading before I did this. And, when I talk, maybe some people have asked me some questions already for the angel chat, which seems to be the name that we may end up going with. But and if you have any ideas of your own about this chat, this is just this particular chat. I mean, I'm going to do different ones, but this particular one is to just start a community and where we just talk about our spiritual practices, and people are asking me questions about my spiritual practice. Mine is very simple. A lot of people have very detailed and ones, but it's that opportunity. But here, it takes courage. And in my personal reading, I had pulled the devil card in one of my tarot decks. I do have other tarot decks that I'm going to start using. And this one, what came out of it for me was when I was looking at the card, I felt this desire, like almost like a lust, strong desire. But then as I began to write my notes, it became the difference between focusing on what you desire versus what you deserve. And I don't know if that resonates with you, but it really did for me. Because sometimes we get fixated on something, a desire, right? We get obsessed. And this is why I'm bringing this in from my personal thing. Because we get obsessed about things being a certain way. And, it's this desire. I desire this to be this way. But the karma of light would ask you to say to yourself, what is it that you deserve? What do you deserve? There's a higher frequency. It sort of activates a whole nother level of observation and reflection. It shifts the conversation about to purpose that is aligned with truth and integrity. So just think about that a little bit, and that's that one form of courage, to confront yourself and to really come into alignment with what is it that you deserve. What is in alignment with your truth? What holds as integrity for you, that boosts you, that lifts you up? And then there's that other part where we're talking about when it was about standing up for what is right, because standing up for what is right is going to transmute negative karma into karma of light. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at the cards for the beginning of the week. So this one I don't know what it is, but let's see. Okay, so the 5 of Earth. So I get this feeling, I don't know about you, but it's like, because we're going to have some tough cards here I can see. And I get this feeling that let me just go ahead and turn this over since we've already been talking about it. And I feel like this card is going to be the center for helping you to deal with whatever you're struggling with. And, here, this is usually about financial matters or struggling with something in your life. It could be about struggling in your work. And the struggle could be around change and beliefs that need to change, is the word I just saw written out in front of me. They're saying that you're dealing with that integrity piece, and there's a rebirth around these beliefs that are happening for you. And this is the challenge that you're really dealing with. And they wrote out the word confess. Like confess to your heart is what I'm feeling. Confess to your own heart what you deserve. This is going to be a week of, you're going to feel this intensity of emotions in your heart. And you're going to need to, what was the word I saw? Reflect or inspect your heart is the word I saw. Inspect your heart. What is it? And they wrote out the word serendipity. So this is all happening with great cause. And the cause, the purpose of the universe is to give you, is the word I just saw, relief, release. They want to release you. Okay? They're writing out words. They want to release you. That's how the word propriety. They want to release you. So somehow, I just saw the word punishment. You've somehow, I don't know how this word will touch within you, but in some ways you're punishing yourself by you're like wrestling with the wrong thing, so to speak. You're beating yourself up about the wrong thing. Like they're showing me the word expenses. You're wrestling with what you deserve, which versus what you desire, and sometimes you don't believe you deserve what you deserve. And because you don't believe that you deserve what you deserve, you feel this inner turmoil. Because you don't know what, you're so focused on lack and beliefs that just usurp your power, that you don't know when you deserve and when you, versus what you just desire. And in a way, this desire is like you're just attached to this thing. You just fixated on it because of what? Because of all of these emotions that are lack so much clarity. It's just a lot of confusion because you're not practicing giving yourself or allowing for yourself what you deserve. And it's writing up the word faith. And this is where that faith comes in, to trust when something resonates with your heart. You deserve that. We're not saying desire is bad, but we're saying we're trying to empower that with the idea of deserving, to find that desire that you deserve versus that desire that just creates a little bit more chaos in your life, that takes you off the path, so to speak. So you've got to learn to stand up in your spirit for what is real, what is true for you, what holds value, what uplifts you and others. And this is not always easy because, as you see here, it's kind of lonely at the top, but all of a sudden you realize that you're the only one who thinks and feels the way you do, and everybody else is reacting to it. They're reacting to this difference in you, and that's because you, like when you have to confront yourself and confess to your heart what you deserve, you are being that same activation for them. It's not directly at you that they have this problem. It's not you they have the problem with. It's that aspect of you that is activated, which is also in them, that they're responding to. And it's easier for them to direct the blame at you than themselves, because they are not at that place where they are able to yet. But you can learn something from this, from your side of it. And by doing so, you can transmute that karma that's being created into karma of light. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. And so what's driving all of this? What's driving this? What's driving all of this is our past, it's just the stuff we carry around with us. You have to tell yourself, probably more times than not, that I'm not there anymore. Meaning, because sometimes in the present, we're reacting to things that have been triggered from feelings a long time ago, and we're still being triggered by them. That's kind of a fixation. You got this emotional bone in your jaw, and you won't let it go. And you can't let it go, understandably, because you don't know that you're no longer there anymore. And the thing is that a lot of people have trouble forgiving and letting go because they can't forget, or they don't want to forget. And one of the things that came up in the writings this past week is that you don't have to forget. But what you're doing is you want to release yourself each time from the way that you see that memory, the way that you look back at it, because you want to release, you want to forgive yourself. You want to love yourself by letting that emotion heal for you as you are able to do so. And in allowing it to heal, and it's sort of like you want to turn your pain into power. You want to turn it into the karma of light. You want to turn it into a force for good, for light, enlightenment. And so, you can use that to, turn that pain into a passionate purpose that will be of service to you, that will be healing for you and a service to others. And that's where you can transmute the negative karma into a karma of light. And so you do this first for yourself. So that every time that memory comes up, it's connected to this transition of you finding a purpose that you're passionate about, that becomes this superpower of energy. So that energy goes from feeling victimized or weak, and then becomes powerful by the transmutation of actions. So every time that you feel that you turn it into some kind of action, a powerful action. And over time, that memory will have a different feeling. The feeling will change. And you didn't have to forget, but you may not need to focus upon it. That may be the part of the forgetting that may happen over time. You may not need to focus on it. You'll always remember, but you don't need to relive it. So it's two things going on there. And all of this kind of work, I hate to say that word, but this kind of a practice, which, don't obsess over any practice, because when you do that, you stifle your growth. You don't need to obsess over the practice. You just need to be willing and aware, and to just do your best every day. Don't worry that you fall back down, because you're never going to fall as low as you did before, as long as you're being compassionate with yourself about how this is going to heal and unfold for you. But courage. You have the courage to do this, to step into your power. Okay, let's take a look at the card. And then this card I accidentally saw because I turned the deck over, because I was like looking through the rest of the cards to see, and then I was realized. But so we have, again, that's why I said we're going to have this week. This is the card from the bottom of the deck, the Five of Water. And this card usually is a reflection of disappointment. So we have two fives here. We have changes, really. And the number 5 is not a negative card, and the word change is not a negative thing, right? And maybe this, just talking about this for a moment, is the practice. So we're understanding, one of the biggest revelations for me that's ever happened about change, the word change, is that it is the wheel, it's the mobile for our prayers to be answered. Without change, nothing comes. Nothing comes. So whatever you're waiting for, it is within the process of change. Now, the process of change may seem like it is slim to nil, but this is never real. We just don't, when we get fixated, meaning become stagnant upon a point or anything, we can alter our reality and the ability to see the wheel turning. But if you lose sight of this and you need help with this, they're telling me that try just paying attention to the sunlight shifting throughout a day. Just pay attention to how the sun, from the earliest dawn of light that breaks through the sky of darkness and stars and the moon, notice the transition that happens all the way until the setting hours of the sun. This process of observing change as you're moving throughout the day will put you pretty in sync with the process of change and its natural aspect, the natural function and important role that it plays in our physical world. Or a plant, you can, that's why some people often have prescribed, planting a new plant at the start of something, a project that you're beginning. And you can observe that plant, not because if it grows, it means that you're going to get what you want, and if it dies, you're not. No. It's just about taking care of the plant and watching its evolution. And as you do this, you're connecting, you're literally, what they're telling me, you're syncing up with, or becoming synchronized with, the physical process of manifestation. That you are connecting with the properties of manifestation that is activating within you. So taking care of a natural plant or anything in your home that is, it could be a pet too, but the plant, it has a slower, well, they both do, but taking care of this and being aware of the changes. So with your pet, you could do the same thing if you have a new pet, or if you already have a pet, and you can just observe the changes that are happening in your pet as age happens, or things, you can note your own changes, but in a way that you reflect on that change being good. Even if it seems like a negative to you, you can focus on how that transformation is actually honoring the authenticity of your life. If you can reframe it. And so this is the practice here. Practicing reframing things outside of something that you're working on, so that when you go to something you're trying to work on, or whatever you're trying to manifest, that you're able to do this. This is I don't know how this, but I'm going to just say it because they're writing it in front of me. This is the confession to the heart part. This is the transformation of transmuting negative karma into karma of light. This is the way you can practice this and align yourself with it. By aligning yourself with this, just through this practice that's different from everything else, there's nothing to worry about. Focus on your plant, focus on your animal, or your child even, or anything that's organic. You can use it as an opportunity to focus and sink in with this manifestation energy, the process of change. And in this way, transmute this ability to fall prey to emotional disappointment, to get stuck in these stagnant waters, the broken pieces. Because this card is always reminding us that there's always something standing. And it's where you're focused is based on how you manifest as a habit. And that's what you can't break, is the habit, the pattern is what the bottom line is, what you may be struggling with. If you are feeling right now, well, how come I try all these things and nothing works? I'm just stuck there. It's because you have developed a belief, a pattern, a habit. And what you need to do is reframe the stories you tell to yourself. And this confession piece is about, what do I really deserve? Even if you don't believe it, you just need to understand that this is something you deserve. And you can probably rationalize that in your mind until you have an aha or breakthrough. But a practice like this with a plant or any organic matter, you watch and observe it change, and maybe keep a little notebook about it, and then to be able to turn and do this to your and use yourself as the subject is probably going to be the ultimate goal. But I wouldn't do it right away. Now, you have to understand that everything I've told you today, I've never talked about before, even to myself. So I have not done this because it's just coming out of me in this moment. So this is something for all of us to tap into and see, and don't be disappointed if it does or does not. Don't get, don't come down on yourself. That's part of the point. Get rid, let that bone, that energy where you just fixate, and you get that bone stuck between your teeth. You have to figure out when you're doing that and how to not do that, to let it go. So, wow, I send you lots of love. And I'm thinking here, as we're getting close to the end of the month, I'm just going to go out and just flat say that the first week in November will probably be the weekend that I do this. So I just have to get one little tool for this, and we'll. So I don't know. I can't say the date right off my hand, right off the top of my mind. So I will definitely give you that date next week for when we'll have the angel chat. Okay. And if you're looking for an angel reading, feel free to contact me through the angelschool.com on the services page, and you'll see the angel reading services there, and you can find it in the description link below this video. Also, to join us for the daily card messages for the week, from Monday through Friday, which you can find through my Facebook page. And I'm looking at my Instagram account and how I want to do that too. So if you have some ideas of things that you would like for me to share differently on my Instagram page, which is just Barry Jones, then there's nothing there really at all. But if you have some ideas, so I have the daily card messages there. I have a lot of new tarot decks that I've purchased this year, and that I definitely want to share, and probably in some videos as well. So just any ideas about that. And then I have you can also reach us on Twitter for the daily card messages and these videos here. So have a beautiful week, everyone, and God bless you all.